We basically improve productivity by 5x across the board.
What a wonderful start into the day. I'm Sebastian. I'm hosting today's conversation with both Ian and Cheng. I'm leading global manufacturing, and I'm super delighted to have them both here because they are friends, partners, and clients. So with that, Ian.
I'm Ian Kane. I am Director of Corporate Strategic Alliances at Lenovo.
Cheng, I'm Director of Global Business Development for our SaaS business.
So, and I guess now our audience is really wanting to look into your journey that you already have into automation. So, Jay, could you please outline it a little bit?
So, at Lenovo, we started doing automation 4 or 5 years ago, right? And basically, we look at how, initially it was basically looking at specific use cases for finance and HR areas. And then from that point on, we feel we were actually getting a lot of great responses from employees when it comes to building automation, right? Helping them. And basically, since then, we've actually done a cross-organization implementation of our automation services. And we have today, more than 700 automations. We're saving millions of dollars every year. And we're looking into building more automations as we go. And at the same time, we're also looking at how we can actually kind of replicate that digital transformation journey with our partners and customers.
Wow, that sounds amazing. You had like 2 catchwords in there. One was 700 processes running, and then the other one was a lot of savings. So could you be more precise about like the value and the tangible outcomes that you got out of that journey so far?
So we basically improve productivity by 5x across the board, right? And then also from a saving standpoint, it's millions of dollars. I can't get into too much of detail there, but then it's in the millions.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And a lot of time, Ian, we have clients that say, so value is one thing, but then the other thing is they want to tie it to their strategy. And I guess that would be super interesting to understand, how did you do that at Lenovo? Where does it tie? Where does it contribute to the strategy? And where's the automation fit in there?
Thanks, Sebastian. Yeah, this automation ties really nicely with Lenovo's 3S digital transformation strategy, which is smart IoT, smart service and solution, and smart infrastructure, which are really tied to cost savings, efficiency, employee and customer experience, and ESG, which is driving those pieces. And really, it's powered by an initiative called Lenovo Powers Lenovo, where we actually help customers on their journey and help understand and solve their problems with Lenovo expertise and know-how, and automation is a key component to that.
Cool. So we talked journey, we talked value. It ties to the strategy, which is interesting. Now, Jay, let's talk a little bit about product. What is it that you really took from UiPath, and what are the components, and how do you leverage them?
So we're taking the attended and unattended robots. We're obviously using Orchestrator. We're actually exploring process mining as well. So we're looking at a slew of things to actually integrate in our current experience of the 700, again, the processes that we actually automated.
Terrific. Any like new products like lately to the game?
Yeah, so Ian mentioned ESG earlier, and what we're looking at is how we can actually look at carbon emission data, how we can actually offset carbon emissions. ESG obviously is a very strategic goal for the company, right? So we want to look at how we can utilize automation to streamline the overall ESG process. And then basically at the same time, again, sharing with our customers and our partners our journey and kind of assist them in the process to help them with their digital transformation as well.
And that's an interesting one, because a lot of clients take automations, take them to their business, but what you are alluding to is almost like a new business that you want to build. So could you give us some more background on that, how you build that new business and how you run it to your clients?
So for us, is whenever we're presented with a problem statement internally, what we do is we go through a discovery phase where we try to identify where the pain points are, and we try to develop the automation process along with the architecture that's in place. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to look into ESG as a focal moving forward and look at how we can automate that process. But then again, at the same time, a lot of our customers are looking for similar implementations within their organization, and we feel our experience would actually help them accelerate that process.
Yeah, it's interesting because we see that pattern, like developing solutions, taking that to market, generating new revenues. Ian, I have a different question because automation is still like a new technology out there, and you want to make sure that you take your employees along. I would just be super curious, how do you engage with your employees on that journey? And is there any like feedback that's top of mind where they used it and just been like blown away by it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sebastian. So every time we're presented a problem, a challenge, something we want to solve, we bring automation to the table and educate them on actually how to utilize this. We sort of build some center of excellence internally to help support them from that standpoint. How quickly can we implement some of these to create some opportunities? And we're getting good feedback. Employee morale is up because they're able to reduce repetitive tasks and focus more on high value processes, which really is exciting. And we're getting great feedback not only from our employees, but our executive staff as well.
Cool. So maybe last question, and it goes for like both of you, and maybe you want to build on each other. Question would be, why is it that you selected UiPath?
So we actually went through a pretty a process that I actually went through all the vendors that were out there 3-4 years ago, right? And obviously we feel UiPath has the most robust technology, and at the same time you guys have been a great partner along the way, right? So, and that's why we want to make sure not only to work with the best out there, right, but then also want to work with those that are willing to collaborate with us, and that's why we're sticking with you guys.
Yeah, I think building on that, Jay, that's great. One, we want to work with leaders in the industry, and you guys are really sort of changing how automation is used, and we're in that. And we're both looking for outcomes. We're looking for outcome-based games for our customers and us, so working together. And as Jay said, collaboration is key. I don't think we do this alone. That's why we're partners. We're going to collaborate and solve customer problems together.
Cool. So that's almost like a cliffhanger. I really look into like what's next out there. So it was a pleasure to have you here, and looking forward for the joint journey.
Thank you.
Great. We are too.